Hi, I'm Chad, and I'm going to teach you a better way to do this. So you've probably heard of Werner Gunthor, like this amazing shot putter who had all this crazy training. And they would use this method called the 3-7 method, right? So what you do is you take, this is what the workout is. I'm going to tell you why you're not going to do it this way and how to get there, though. This is going to sound like an impossible workout. You take 70% of your max. You do 3 reps. You rest 15 seconds. Then you do 4 reps. Rest 15 seconds. You do 5 reps. Rest 15 seconds. 6 reps. 15-second rest again. And then 7 reps. Right? And then you rest 2.5 minutes and do it again. So you're doing a set of 3, a set of 4, a set of 5, a set of 6, and a set of 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 15-second rest between each of them. It's basically cluster sets, right? And then you're going to rest 2.5 minutes and do it a second time. Now, I have heard that many people have attempted this and they can't do it. Big surprise. Most of us can't do it. It's like when guys tell me they do the Live workout, and I'm like, really? You can front squat 405? That's amazing. They don't front squat 405. They do it with like 135 or 115, and whatever. So, anyways, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the same model here. This 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thing. There's 2 ways you can skin this cat. One, we're going to go with 50% of your 1 rep max instead of 70%. So what you'll do is you'll do the workout exactly as it's written, but instead of using 70%, you're going to use 50%. And whenever you can get through 2 sets of that, then you go ahead and add a little weight, and you do it again. And you add a little weight, and you do it again. And you work your way up from 50% to 70%. Okay? That's the one way to do it. So that way, you're keeping the reps the same, the rest times the same, everything's going to be the same, but you're going to slowly increase the load over time. You're going to start off at 50% instead of 70%, and you're going to work your way up till you hit 70%, okay? The other alternative to this is for you to manipulate the rest times. And my advice to you, actually, is to be overly generous. So do a set of 3, rest 1 minute. I'm not just doubling the time to 30 seconds. 1 full minute. Set of 4, full minute. Set of 5, full minute, right? So we're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we're going to rest a full minute. This is 70%. We're going to rest a full minute between these sets, okay? And then, instead of having a 2.5 minute, maybe you rest 4 or 5 minutes between, that and the next set, right? Okay. You're going to have a sense very quickly as you get through this of just how fast you could have done it. We're going to intentionally go too easy the first time we ever do it. That's the whole point. We're going to intentionally sandbag it. The reason for this is because you want to make sure that that last set of 7 is the one that really counts. That's going to be the hardest set. So, it's going to feel way too easy when you do 3, rest a full minute, 4, rest a full minute, 5, rest a full minute. But suddenly 6 and 7 are going to feel much harder. That's why we're intentionally sandbagging it. And so from that point on, what you're going to do is you're going to try to reduce the rest time. So now you're going to do it the next time and say 50 seconds of rest. And then maybe 45 seconds of rest. Or maybe that was way too easy at 50, so you make it 40 seconds. Regardless of however you choose to skin this, you're going to decrease the rest times slowly until you get down to those 15-second rests and a 2.5 minute rest between that first set and the second set. Because really it's one set. It's one cluster set. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's your cluster set. Rest 2.5 minutes and do another cluster set. The way we're going to approach this, though, is we're going to extend the rest times and then slowly work the rest time down. So now you are using 70%, but we're playing with the rest time instead. So those are the 2 ways you can approach this workout. The first one is for you to use less load and keep the rest times the same. Or, alternatively, and personally I think this is the better choice, use 70%, but use longer rest times, and then slowly over time, decrease the rest time. Think of it like escalating density. That's really all it is. It's escalating density training, just in a different methodology. And this even reminds me of like taxi squats, which is, something I learned from a Ukrainian weightlifter who was coached by Ilya Ilyan's coach. So taxi squats are a fun thing. And the same concept applies there. The first time I ever tried taxi squats, I couldn't do it. So it was like, okay, I either need to use less load or have longer rest times between sets. So I went with longer rest times between sets. That way I was still training with 80%. But, I made a point that I wanted to make sure I was using a sufficient load. And the thing I had to improve then was my ability to repeat in less time, escalating density. And that's my preferred method, but by all means, you could just simply use less load and keep the rest times the same. If your conditioning's good and your strength is behind, that's probably the better way for you to do it. If your strength is okay, but your conditioning is behind, then, it's going to be the rest times that you want to manipulate. And for the majority of people, I will say that I would rather go heavier and slowly decrease the rest times rather than go too light. It's like if you did 1,000 push-ups, how much of a stimulus is that versus you bench pressing 300 pounds? I always feel like more weight is the goal, to a point, right? We don't need to be pushing 95%, but you probably want to spend the majority of your training in that 75 to 85% range. So, think about that for a minute. We want to have sufficient muscle tension. So, mind you, this is a little low. It's 70%, which is still sufficient. It's plenty, especially if you go hard. But this is a better way of approaching it, and I think that people will have more success, and you'll probably actually accomplish this faster than if you just kept trying to do the workout over and over and over again and failing.